Hello everybody, on October 21st, 2016, YouTube invited me to London to do a little speaking to some streamers, or I should say some YouTubers from Europe, mainly as an experience on my success on live streaming, because I'm one of the few YouTubers who started as a live streamer and has done pretty well. Following clips are just a unedited version of that interview or Q&A session at the YouTube space in London. If you're not interested in just seeing a bunch of blabbing and blobbing, I'll move on to some other videos. I've got my vlogs, for instance, or I've got my my gaming I upload every night. And of course, I'm here every night at 10 p.m. Central. Otherwise, enjoy the interview, and I'll see you guys tonight at 10 p.m. Central. Bye-bye.
Do a bit of a Q&A with Tyler over here. So Tyler, do you want to come up and
sure.
grab a pew? AKA GameDojo. Yeah, these are quite narrow chairs here, Victor. I've got wide hips.
I'm good.
We're gonna have to cut you out of that.
That'll make for a great thumbnail.
My time in YouTube space. There's no space.
Americans are fat.
YouTube knows
That's what we were going for. That was deliberate. What we're going to do is just do a little bit of a Q&A. We'll go through kind of an introduction to your channel, just talk about some of your takes on live streaming, which you've been doing very regularly on your channel. But then, I mean, the idea is to make it kind of a discussion with you guys as well. So, a lot of you guys will have unique experiences and may have better ways of doing things. So, very much the idea is to kind of just chat and kind of go on a journey of discovery together. How's that? So first up, to kind of kick things off, in 1 minute, I'm going to time this. Tell us who you are and what your channel is about in a minute.
Okay, I got it now. All right. I'd say I'm a family-friendly video gaming live production show. I always tell people I'm not all that great at video games. I'm not the top-end MLG guy. I can't tell you the newest thing that is great about the game. I'm not going to have this new exclusive. What I will do is have a great time with you. I'll have an interactive audience. My number one priority was always talking to chat, always being the guy who doesn't call a kid a squeaker, always calls a kid somebody valuable on my channel. I play all the
What's a squeaker?
You don't know what a squeaker is?
No, I feel like that's been lost in translation. So.
Is my timer stopped here?
Yeah, I've paused the timer.
A squeaker, to the end,
25 seconds left.
A squeaker is when you're playing a multiplayer game and he pops into the chat and he's all excited and it's to little kids, the young little 8 to 10-year-olds. We call them squeakers because they're such high voices, and they radiate through the stream, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, get the squeaker out of your," that's where they come from. But my priority,
it's a learning curve.
Yeah, it's fine, but I always find it's a very derogatory term. It's actually very insulting to the kids, and I would never call them that. Not in their face, whatever, because. Too many channels when I was first starting was a lot of putting down of kids, a lot of bullying, a lot of angry people that were really mean to each other. And as a father, it really kind of hurt me. And so I want to make a channel that is like a safe haven for parents to send their kids, where kids can hang out and have fun. And if I find any sort of kind of bullying or sort of kind of negative chat, that they're removed and they're not part of the channel anymore.
Yeah.
And that's where my channel was started from.
And so on that note, how did you get started? Like when did you set up your channel first, and what's your kind of channel progression been like? My
second child was born in August 29th. I started live streaming September 1st because I was up every night. If you guys doubt anyone has kids here, it's hard to say. What no one told me when I had kids is that they're up every 2 hours. And when we get up every 2 hours, they're up every 2 hours. So if you got to feed them at 8, then at 10, then at midnight, then at 2, then at 4, then at 6. And it goes like that for months. So because I was up every night with the kid, feeding him if I had to have something to do. And so I started playing games late at night, and I realized there's a record button, and that's it. I mean, that's how it started. It was literally just a hobby to pass the time at night when I was up with the kid.
And your channel's now at over 60,000 subs.
Mm-hmm.
What was your journey to kind of, I guess, the different sub milestones? Like, how long did it take you to?
Well, what was interesting is that when I started,
and then 10.
I mean, I wasn't getting any views at the beginning. I think my first week I got 0 views.
So I thought, if I got 500 subs, that's like the end all be all. I can tell my friends I'm a YouTuber, this is great. So I had an Xbox One giveaway at 500 subs. And that was the first month. I think it was, let's say October 1st. And then it was 1,000 subs at November 1st. And then 10,000 subs at January 1st. And so that was the snowball effect right at Christmas. I don't know if YouTube changed an algorithm or something, I'm not sure. Some of the things switched from having 20, 25 people watching to 500 people watching in like probably a 3-week process.
And so let's go. I think it'd be good to kind of, because so you're currently you started off just streaming. You now mix it up with a bit of you've got some like vlog content on there and some VODs, but you're still streaming
every night at 10 p.m. Central
with Rigor every
yes.
day.
For the first year, I took 10 days off, and now through the requirement of my wife, I have to take every Wednesday off, just as to keep my sanity. So yeah, I stream every night at 10 p.m. Central, but then now I've been adding one vlog every weekend on Sunday, and then a vlog commentary on Wednesday. So Wednesdays are like if I talk about a game or review or something that's coming out, that's what that's for. And the vlog is purely family and the background of what Dojo's life's like.
Cool. And so I thought it would be useful to go a little bit into your technical setup, because you like your tech. We were talking before
yeah.
about the kind of production that you've got behind it. Can you kind of run us through quickly the way like what you use for your technical setup?
Yeah. The first starts off with.
I'll see if I can pull up one of your videos whilst you're talking. Sure.
I first start with this. Everyone's camera has everyone for live streaming. It's the C920, the magical camera. The one thing I do differently though, which I was very proud of, is I do it vertically. Because if you have a horizontal format and you have a vertical body, you're losing about 20-30% of your camera to garbage, and nobody wants to see it. So turn it sideways, and I rotate my camera, so now I have a full torso at full HD. That's the start. Typical PC setup with.
So I'm trying to type on a French keyboard and it's not going well.
Wait a minute. How does a French keyboard look different?
Okay, so try and type your channel name into them.
Based on muscle.
Yeah.
G. Oh. What's wrong with you people? Why is there a Q where there should be an A?
Exactly.
How do you do first-person shooters? It's a Z. No, whatever.
Sorry,
They have the same alphabet. Why do they have the different keyboard?
Go figure.
I don't know what's coming. Oh, so yeah, typical computer setup. We have the ingestion capture card. I use the Intensity Pro 4K because at the time the Elgato added a lot of artifacts to everything, so I kind of didn't like that. So the Xbox and PS4 and this HDMI splitter going into the capture card. Capture card then sends to OBS, which I think is God's gift to man. I don't like XSplit. I don't like Game Show. I find them to be kind of, I don't know, overthought. And I like free source, open source programming. OBS is free, and there's a lot more options I think that OBS offers. And within OBS, that's where all the magic happens. That's where you can inset video. That's where you can do keyboard shortcuts for scene changes and for graphic changes and overlays. And I think you can have your entire keyboard full of scene changes if you want. It's your imagination.
So on the screen behind you, I was just showing you where you go. Like you kind of have a different setup for when you've got the game loading screen.
It's really like a show.
With like loads going on.
It looks like a visual radio show.
That's the point.
It looks so cool.
I have to distract the fact that I'm old and bald and I can't play games. So I got to do everything I can to like make people like, oh look, pretty colors. This actually came from playing Grand Theft Auto. Everyone knows the load screens are just an atrocity. So you sit there doing nothing for so long, and being a live streamer, if your head's this big and the load screen's this big, it's very boring for the viewer. So if you switch to something like this, where you have information like the interaction becomes more of a TV show.
Yeah. And you know what? That seems really simple, but like until you think about it, like that would never have occurred to me that that's the way that you could do it. But no, it's a good way of using the space. Because like you say, you're not doing anything, and then instead you flip it completely, interact with your chat for a whole minute, and then you switch back to the game.
Yeah, so it becomes more of a talk to the audience moment, and then now it's gaming again. So you kind of go back and forth depending on the load screens. Yeah.
Sweet.
And then you go back into like a full. So your game. This is your gaming view, right? Where so you're green screened in.
And this has been minimalized over time because when I first started, this even had a lot more going on. But I got a lot of feedback and realization, especially for new game releases. When a brand new game, I think it was was a beautiful game that came out recently. I don't remember what it was, and I got chat like, can you get rid of this stuff because we want to see the beautiful game. It occurred to me, yeah, brand new. Was it?
No Man's Sky.
It was No Man's Sky. It was. That's right. I remember that now. Oh my god.
Oh, that's so funny.
The shittiest game ever. So I minimize it because new games, people want to see the game. They don't necessarily want to see my stupid head. So I've kind of thinned it out. Kept the intro screen though, because obviously when there's load screens. So I think it's important to have the game as the main focus when you're playing.
And in terms of your process for kind of your videos, you're mostly live. Do you have anyone help out with like editing or anything like that, or?
No, I have no help at all. It's been very tiring for a year, but I mean that's how it works, right? YouTube's all about isolation.
That's not how we sell it.
Well, I mean, I think about it sometimes. I stream late at night, and it'll be 2 a.m. I realize, look around, I'm by myself in my basement talking to thousands of people. And if you think that you're in this kind of moment where you're hanging out with a bunch of people, but you're really not. You're by yourself. But no, I don't have any editing help. I don't have any graphics help. I don't have any production help. No one I know in my life does streaming, does YouTube, doesn't really game. In fact, most of the time I'm kind of looked down upon in my normal life because it's a generation gap between YouTube and streaming. But no help with editing or anything.
And it's worth touching on that. So you I guess came to the game quite late in some regards.
Oh yeah.
But you have you've got a full-time job, and you fit your YouTube streaming kind of around job, around being a husband and father to 2 kids. So doesn't leave you with a lot of time. You were saying it for a while, you were functioning on
I always thought about
2 hours sleep.
I could probably say that I'd be doing better now if it wasn't for my normal life, because this is what I do in the stream. Someone asked me, like, do you have a job? Yes. So I get up at 7:20, help the kids a little bit in the morning before my wife takes out, whatever. I had to leave at 8 to 8:30 for work. I work from 9 to 5. I get off at 5, I go pick up the kids at daycare, bring them home, make them dinner, clean the kitchen, play with the kids, read them books, put them to bed, do the bath. Then I have between 8:30 to 10 for free time. That ends up just being stream setup time, making sure everything's working, maybe come up with new graphics for the stream. Start streaming at 10, go from 10 to 3 in the morning, go to bed, repeat. It's been 12 months like that. I mean, but it's funny because it doesn't feel like a problem because I'm enjoying everything. It's been so much fun. Because the growth allows you to, everyone knows it in this room, that high you get when you get the views, that feeling is better than anything, right? So as long as that is constantly fed, I'm good, and I don't have to sleep. So I've had like 3 to 5 hours of sleep every day for about a year.
And how do you? So I mean, you mentioned you got that's nuts. There's no way I could function.
But this way, I have very little sympathy for people who say I don't have time. I mean, I've heard so many streamers or video makers like, gosh, I would love to do that, but I don't have time. They're like, well, yeah, you do. You're not married, you don't have kids, you don't have a job. To say you don't have time is just an excuse.
Fair enough. And so it sounds like you go straight into your streams pretty, not unprepared, but without necessarily a
game plan,
scripted idea of what.
But it kind of depends on what the stream is. Like if it's a game release, we all know that beautiful 11 p.m. time. Well, not 11 p.m. Sorry, it's midnight Eastern American time. The games drop now, but I start at 10 o'clock, so I have an hour of time before that. So if a new game comes in, I know that hour is going to be filler. So I'll prepare with trailer videos and things I'll be doing for that hour to kind of keep things interesting until the game launches. But most of the time, no. I'll just hit start streaming and just go do what I can.
That's interesting. Like people in the room, like what's your experience? Like, does anyone who streams now do more prep for streams? Like, do you
do some press ups or something?
Yeah, like bomb yourself up, get angry for your stream.
Depends on the stream, honestly.
Lots of drinks.
I stream irregularly. Like I do stream, but on occasion. And it really, for me, it depends on the stream itself. Like it depends on the subject. What exactly are we going to be talking about? Is it a new update for a game, or is it just a regular casual stream? So for a casual stream, I could just go live. But for an update stream, I need to make sure I set some key points as to what I'm going to be covering for myself, to feel that I've done my job as a content creator.
Yeah, makes sense. And I suppose that's one of the beauties of live, right? You can pretty much just go into it, and then your content's out there without necessarily the editing, the editing of VODs. And is that something that you want to build out more on your channel, the VOD side of things?
Well, I don't know. I mean, like I watch people like Codename who can create these phenomenally edited videos, even from his live streams, and I just feel like I don't have time. There's no way I could ever spend the time editing my live stream videos. As you know my schedule. There's no moment where I have it myself. Would I want to? I'm not sure, because it's one of those scenarios where how much work do I want to keep adding to my channel, depending on if I did for a living, I probably would, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's too far off right now to even assume.
And you mentioned Codename. What other kind of channels out there are kind of inspirational
What's interesting is I take like
channels that you've taken stuff from, I guess.
Yeah, I've taken things from different channels. I don't like have this one channel that I focus on, because I think that would be a copycat type scenario. Some of my friends I look really into. For instance, the two I really think about a lot is One Shot Girl and Stat. And the reason why is surprisingly enough, is the way they are very positive people. They're a very positive attitude about what they're doing when they're live. They never talk negative. They never curse you. They're always in this positive mood, and I want to do more of that, because I'm kind of a negative person actually. I'm very self-deprecating and stuff like that, and I want to be more positive. So I look at that, and then I look at like channels like Comic Book Girl 19, and I see her production, and I see that she drinks Blanton's, which is like the best bourbon ever, and I see these. I want to mimic that, and then I see Casey Neistat, and I see the fact that someone who's not necessarily the most attractive, who's my age, can get huge by doing something that's creative. And so those kind of that scenario is a little bit of channel here and there kind of inspires me to better mine.
And what have you got? Do you kind of like look ahead to, say, the next month or 6 months or anything like that, and kind of see make plans for kind of different styles of content or things like that? Like, do you have a rough idea in your head of like what we can look forward to in 6 months' time, say?
Well, I have a link in my browser to oh my gosh, I don't know what it's called because I haven't been there. I mean, Metacritic, thank you.
Yeah.
They have a great article that shows you all the games coming out in the next 2 years. Like they're launching for all the consoles and for PC. And I'm always looking at that to know when the next game I'm going to want to buy is coming out. So that's the only projection I've got. Otherwise, it's just kind of fly by the seat of my pants.
And so currently you've got a multi-game channel, but you've got variety. So you've got mostly COD. But you introduced a bit of Battlefield.
Well, Call of Duty and GTA are the bread and butter,
Yeah.
and then you pepper in the Fallouts and the No Man's Sky and other things. You pepper them in because A, I'd get bored playing one game, it drives me crazy, and B, people won't kind of want to see some different stuff ever so often. And
are your audience okay with that?
Yeah, what's interesting is
that you? Do you feel like that's you leading? Kind of forcing stuff on them sometimes?
I don't know. It's because you have thousands of people. It's different depending on whatever you talk to. But I'll be honest that the most loyal viewers who are there every night I've found came from games that I would not think of. Like Fallout was a huge number of really loyal fans came from Fallout. They hate Call of Duty, but they're here every night because they enjoyed what I did with Fallout. And that's why it's good to have new games, because you get a wider breadth of audience. The longer I do this, I know that Grand Theft Auto is all kids. Call of Duty is usually a bunch of cesspool of people that are really mean-spirited, but like you have different kinds of audience members depending what game you play.
Yeah. And so go for it.
I was wondering, like, you have your games in the background that you play on a specific day. Do you ever have a moment where, like, let's say Tuesday, you just don't feel like playing Far Cry, you feel like playing something else? Do you?
So yeah, I have done that, and I get a lot of backlash. You get, like, especially if it's like a GTA night. Like my Friday GTAs has been my thing since the beginning. If like a game drops and I got to play Battlefield on Friday, I get so much backlash. And where's GTA? What's going on? I don't like this. They really like a schedule.
What do you do if you don't really feel? Is there ever a moment where, like, I don't really feel like playing the game today?
But in my life, with the way my life is structured, that is not an issue with me, because I at this point, 90% of my day is what I don't want to be doing. So it's just kind of like it's part of his life.
Yeah,
I get. I mean, the older you get, the more mature you get. Realization that
I'm starting to get some of this negative vibe.
You
now.
see it? Yeah. Believe me, I've gotten better though. Like 10 years ago, you wouldn't even want to talk to me because I'd just be pissing and moaning the whole time. And I've learned that the better, the more positive you are, the better the results. So.
Yeah, for sure. And then sometimes actually, once you get into it, it's actually more enjoyable.
It's fine. I mean, I've never been to the point where I've hated what I'm doing. Maybe a couple of GTA streams because that game, I've done everything I can on it. But once I'm in it and the chat's having fun and something funny happens, it's like your mood changes. You get back into it, so it's not too big of a deal.
And that's, I mean, like, everyone who streams, that's a big part of it as well, like the interaction with the chat and kind of, I guess that leads the conversations. Places.
Well, chats is actually what I've always thought is the thing in my channel, and it worries me because if I ever got big, like I got deer size, dude, I couldn't reach chat. It's impossible. You just, but that I mean, it sounds like a good idea, but if you were limited to one chat for 5 minutes, they're not going to chat.
Have you tried that?
No, I don't want it. It's not my thing. Just keeping up with the chat and speaking as much as I can.
So you just read very quickly.
Speech.
Let's put it like this. I literally go through like 3 liters of water in 2 hours. So yeah.
Wow.
It takes a lot out of you.
Yeah.
For the first like couple of months, like I had no voice. But now I'm fine.
Just drink like milk or something more soothing.
Tea and honey, right?
Are you able to keep up with chat?
Right now, yeah. My size is not too big a deal. I mean, when I get to 500 to 800 people watching, it gets a little crazy, but you can kind of skip over the highs and shout me out, and you just read the ones that are actually questions.
Yeah, because whenever I'm streaming, I just cannot keep up, and then I get to the point where there's people so focused on repeating their question that I already answered, and then they ask it again and again and again.
I mean, the thing is, though, I think it's important to be recognizing of people in chat because I don't know if this is true, but I feel like 70 to 80% of the audience is like little kids. And so all little kids want to do is be noticed. And so when they say hi, you can say hi to them. You just made their life better. So I try at least saying the first time they say hi, I'll recognize them as quickly as I can. And it really seems to create a much happier environment for everybody.
Do you, like on your channel, which is obviously like you're going through liters and liters of water, like do you have any kind of like tactics that you use to kind of?
So to begin with, I always make sure that the timer to count down to the stream is always at least 10 minutes. And I literally go in the chat for 10 minutes and type hello to everyone. So whenever they join, I put hi and then their name. Go through every single person.
You've already kind of done that, kind of like they felt like
they know that I'm going to be there straight away. So they know as soon as I start, like once that timer hits like 0, I know there's going to be like 1,000 people there already. So it's good tactic to use.
And you haven't got face cam on or anything.
Yeah,
it's
got
literally
face.
just. Oh, you got face cam.
Oh no,
on.
not when I'm doing
at that stage.
It's literally
it's
the
just
timer's
text.
counting down. Just a standard YouTube counting down timer. I'm just in the chat with them saying hello.
During the events.
And then when you're playing a game, I mean, obviously.
Okay, so
there's elements. There's long periods of the game where you can't look at chat and still play, I guess.
I don't know. What do you say? I think I kill it, but it's just because in my brain I know exactly what to do without looking at the screen.
Yeah, he's gotten into a B mode in his zombie world, so he can do everything better than anyone else without even looking at the screen. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Just looking at chat and playing blind.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy, but it took a long time to like get that down, and I think that the more interactable you can be, the higher your audience gets. As soon as one person feels special, they tell their friend, and then they join, and it builds like that. I mean, my first stream was 18 people. Within a week, I had 100, and then it was just building up and building up, and then I think my peak was like 9K. Like one current.
Wow, man.
So yeah, it's crazy.
And are you still streaming just through PS4? Or are you,
No,
but you were doing that for quite a long time, right?
Yeah, so PS4 from, I think I started doing OBS in the laptop around 170k. Base reveal at 130, bought a PlayStation camera, and then 170k I did OBS.
So that's nice. So you got 130 without even face cam.
Yeah, just PlayStation app and just me talking through a microphone.
Yeah, I told him before we started this whole thing I was talking about that my first interaction with his channel was his ingestion rate must have been having some problems because it was really pixelated, but he was answering every question and then also doing trivia and finding the answers to the trivia and rewarding them with like, yes, good job, you got that right. And I was like, how is this happening? Is he someone else playing the game? Because the ability for him to do that means he didn't need a face cam. He didn't need the production. He didn't hide his bald head. He was able to just kind of, be part and be in the moment. And that, I think the interaction is probably the #1 reason your channel is so big is because they feel like they're part of your content.
Yeah, exactly. I think interaction is everything with live streaming. If you don't have that, then I mean, if you're just a person that's just playing the game, not interacting at all, then what's the point in watching it? They may as well go and play it themselves.
What's the point of live streaming?
Yeah.
You're not going to chat back.
Exactly.
Yeah. What do you think the future of that is going to look like? Like personally on your channel, like as you get bigger, like I mean, we were chatting a bit about like in an ideal world, you'd maybe have like a bit of a studio setup where you could kind of move locations and stuff like that. I suppose it would hinge on interactivity for you, right?
Yeah, I honestly, I've not even thought about the future. I just kind of live in the present because it's just crazy at the minute. So I don't know. I have no idea. Couldn't answer.
Okay, I'll come back to you in 6
Okay,
months.
yeah,
And we'll do a retrospective.
Yeah.
So you talked about kind of, I guess your plans evolve a lot around kind of what games come out. Do you think mobile will play a bigger presence or
What do you mean, mobile games?
Mobile games, yeah.
Not from my channel because I don't like mobile games. I've never liked them. I don't like free games. It's just not my thing. I just can't play them.
What about VR?
Well, I never understood how that would work because A, wouldn't be able to read chat, and also who wants to see a guy with a big thing in their head? So I'm not really sure where that's going to go, unless they can participate. But then if they participate, it's got to be a lot bigger in their market first.
Yeah.
So that'd be like 10 years down the road. Everyone has a VR. We have a VR stream. Everyone come in and watch Dojo play with VR. But right now, it's probably not going to be a reality.
It'll be quite interesting to see where it goes.
Yeah.
One of the things that we've got, have you talked about this at all? The mixed reality stuff. There's technology out at the moment that allows you to basically put the player into the game effectively. So.
Okay.
So going one step beyond just green screening and comping in like multiple video views, so that, say for example, you're playing a VR game where you're like holding a frying pan and flipping pancakes. I would see you in the game wearing the headset with like literally in the game with the pan in your hand, actually moving stuff. So that would actually feel quite immersive. But to your point, like the interactivity with the chat would be.
And until they can figure out getting an overlay in my VR headset, I can read chat. It just wouldn't be the possibility. Like the codename, like once you lose the interactivity, then it's no longer live stream. It's just a VOD that they're watching live.
And would you do it where you'd have maybe someone else playing the game and then you're interacting?
Like possibly, but then that goes down the hands of there's no one else that helps me with editing, so I don't know who's going to come help play the game.
Because I'm just asking because it's actually interesting for us as well. Like we look at this and obviously we can try and build tools to be able to watch 360 content, be able to watch content in VR, to help people, to have facilities in the YouTube space to allow creators to come in and play around with this sort of stuff. But ultimately, it's what people want to watch, right? And that's what guides you guys as well. But I think it's quite exciting because we're like in a it's so rich at the moment with the stuff that you guys are making at the moment that it doesn't feel like that's a dead end. It's just there are these new possibilities, and you kind of look at it and it's like this might go somewhere. Yeah. It might not. It might be actually it's a VOD thing, but there's no scope for that.
Well, new technology can always be experimented with, and you never know where it might go.
Yeah. Cool. I wasn't keeping track of time, Vic, but
I just have one question actually out of interest from us. So YouTube is started as like VOD. So a lot of people do VOD and then they do live now on top. So you started with a live and now you're doing a bit of VOD.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if you think that the different audience and the type of interaction you have is different than VOD, based channel that does that, where you are doing live at the main thing and then the video that you post on YouTube is kind of secondary from.
Yeah, my VODs are better known at Dojo. It's a whole different category. It's mainly just to serve the subs that already happened. They're not meant to get new subs. No one's going to sub to me, seeing me with my kids. I don't think. I mean, I don't really see that reality. The thing is that once I have people here every night who want to see me, they want to know more about me. That's what the VODs came in from. it was also came in because I had some slow weeks and it wasn't much coming on at night streaming, so I wanted to do something else to add to my channel.
Has anyone else got any questions, or not even questions, just stuff they'd like to
You could
say?
name actually trademark or sit there for.
You know how much that expensive that costs? It's insane. I don't know. Again, I'm a designer during my normal life, so it's like I had to do it. It's funny.
Yeah, I like it.
Thanks.
Okay, so to wrap up, sort of a wrap up question. What's your
Okay, so you notice right there, it kind of cut off. Okay, so unfortunately, the Canon 70D, which is the camera I used to record this interview, only has a certain like time frame, and then it automatically shuts itself off. Kind of a bummer, but the interview did go a little long. So I want to quickly point out what the last question was and why it was important, and it's kind of depressing that it ended, okay? The question was, what was one moment that stood out to you that you'll never forget about YouTube streaming? Back in October last year, I believe it was October, could have been in late September, I was struggling. I was doing it because it was fun and enjoyable, but at the same time, the game was struggling. I think I was playing Grand Theft Auto. I was trying to do some kind of stunt thing. It wasn't working. And I had done about 3-4 days of streaming where I had about 5 to 10 people watching, which was okay, but the chat wasn't moving. And I was starting to think, well, why am I even bothering every night doing this? This is kind of silly. And someone named Lucifer stumbled into my stream. Now, the reason why she had done that is accidentally, back then, when you were to switch games, the thumbnail and the title would not update. So she thought I was playing Dying Light, not Grand Theft Auto. But she stuck around. She was interested in my style. And turns out she was actually really digging my stream. And through the chat, we had a little conversation. And she was like, wow, you're really good. Why don't you have more people here? I'm like, I don't know. She decided to go to her Twitter and go to her followers and kind of bring people in. And like, I went from 5 people, like 30, 40 people in a stream. And back then, that was like, boom. I had never been that many people in my stream before. So I went from 5 to 30, and it gave me this energy, this like, whoa, people are watching me, this is exciting. And it was so enthralling, and I had thanked her and all that. And guess what? She did it the next day. And I think about the day after that as well, and maybe a couple times next week. So she kept kind of feeding my channel with her viewers. And I am forever grateful, because that is what saved my channel. Not that I was like going to quit because I wasn't doing well, but it wasn't exactly that fun. And I felt like, why am I doing this? I wasn't getting the support I needed. I wasn't getting the attention. Through that connection, through her coming to my stream, I met a whole bunch of other streamers that she was talking to. So it wasn't just simply this channel, it was also introducing myself to the community of the YouTube gaming. So thank you, Lucifer, for keeping my channel afloat. And I would not be here without her. So guys, that's what the last question was. I hope you enjoyed the interview. Tonight will be at 10 p.m. Central again at the GameDojo channel. I'll see you guys then. Bye-bye.